It's the Monday night edition of Weather for Weather Geeks, geared towards weather enthusiasts, geeks, nerds, and also those who just need a more detailed forecast than you're ever going to find on TV. And especially this week, I'm going to find, I think, that my time on TV will be quite limited with the RNC in Cleveland. I had 2.5 minutes at 6 o'clock. No first weather, no last weather, just 2.5 minutes in the middle of the show, and it's going to be kind of like that all week, I think. So, going to be doing more online content, certainly, than I'll be able to do on TV. Let's start out with what happened this morning. I woke up and looked at the radar and went, uh-oh, I guess I'm not going back to bed. We had a line of heavy storms that tracked through the valley. This is a radar loop from 7 to 8, just an hour sample here, but this is kind of when the heart of the action was here. We had vivid thunder and lightning. We had heavy rains. We had some gusty winds. Now, there wasn't a tremendous amount of wind damage or power outages, but there were some, particularly in Mercer County. So we had some problems at the start of the day today. And, of course, we had some flash flooding issues on 680. Glenwood Avenue in Boardman was a problem for a while. And it's because of this. Look at the rainfall rates here at 7:36 this morning. We had rainfall rates in kind of that purple color of 3, perhaps even 4 inches an hour. However, briefly, that can cause a lot of problems on area roadways, especially roadways that don't drain all that well. So yeah, for a while we had some issues right at rush hour, first thing this morning. What this did, though, was it sort of scoured the atmosphere. It sort of worked over the atmosphere, if you will, and really reduced dramatically our chances for severe weather this afternoon. Starting a few days ago, we were kind of looking at this afternoon as the most active part of the day today, but then it became a little more obvious as we went through time, and especially by last night and this morning, that this morning's storms were going to pretty much just, pardon the pun, steal the thunder from any storms that tried to get going this afternoon. So we got through this morning and no severe weather at all. In fact, no rain at all this afternoon. A lot of severe weather along the East Coast, though. Wind damage reports everywhere from Maine right down I-95 towards Baltimore and the nation's capital. Here's a look at the radar and satellite when I recorded this at about 7:40 this evening. Severe thunderstorm watch still out from roughly New York City on northward, and a couple of showers moving through central PA. That's the nearest any precipitation is. I went out to dinner after the 6 o'clock show, and I noticed that it was starting to feel a little more comfortable out. Our front is sagging through. Here's a look at the rainfall totals this morning. Our downtown studios, we have a weather station up on the roof. We picked up 1.65 inches worth of rain. The heaviest amounts were right around downtown and kind of the immediate south side of Youngstown. At my house in Boardman, 0.72, but then Latonia only a quarter of an inch, Guilford area 0.12, and East Liverpool only had a few hundredths of an inch, and amounts got lower once you were north of I-80 as well. So it was kind of I-80 down to 224. That zone had the most rain this morning. I mentioned those dew points. They're still pretty high, but they're starting to come down. I could notice the change compared to earlier today when dew points were closer to 70, and notice the dew point at Detroit's 57. The drier air will make inroads. Check out our model here showing the dew points dropping down into the mid-50s, even perhaps lower 50s at the start of the day tomorrow. You're going to get up tomorrow morning and head out, and it's going to feel much, much nicer. Afternoon dew points, mostly lower to middle 50s. It's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. As high pressure builds in from the north, just a bright and sunny afternoon, maybe a cumulus cloud here and there. That should about do it. So a beautiful Tuesday. Wednesday, also a good-looking day, a warm day, but nothing unusual for this time of the year, only a couple of degrees above average, and I think dew points stay in check still on Wednesday. So we've got back-to-back nice days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then here we go with the heat. Warm front pushes through Thursday morning. Now our model here is not showing any precipitation with this front. I am concerned about the possibility of the warm front triggering some thunderstorms Thursday, maybe particularly in the morning. The European model has something like that. The Canadian model does too. Other models not so much. So that's something we'll have to watch out for, is the possibility as this warm and humid air makes inroads that the atmosphere gets lifted and we start to see some wet weather, particularly in the morning on Thursday. All right, the heat's going to become the story big time. We have not had a true heat wave yet this year, and you may not know there's actually an official definition for a heat wave. You need 3 consecutive 90-degree days. We've had 2 consecutive days last week. We haven't had 3 in a row. Good chance of that, though, late this weekend to Saturday. This heat dome tomorrow is just centered over the middle of the country, and it just sort of keeps flexing its muscles. Kind of looks like a beating heart almost. And then look what happens as we go into late in the weekend and early next week. It retreats to the west. So now the heat is centered over Vegas and Phoenix and Yuma, and not here. So that means that some cooler air will work its way into the pattern locally. It's not a huge cool down, but instead of the 90s, probably looking at 80s for highs by early next week, a week from right now. But until then, I think we've got a few hot days coming up late this week and into the start of the weekend. Now, this is the GFS model dew point plot. Some of these numbers are kind of ridiculous, particularly the 78 on Sunday. I don't believe that. But I think dew points can get to 70 or so Friday, Saturday, and on Sunday, accompanied by temperatures in the lower, if not middle 90s. That'll produce heat index values perhaps up to 98, 99, maybe 100 in some parts of the region. And I've mentioned this a few times. We have not had that kind of heat in 4 years. It's been since 2012 since we've been above 91 degrees. 91 has been our high water mark 3 of the last 4 years. We did not have any 90-degree days back in 2014. So if we get above 91 Friday and Saturday, and that's our forecast, Friday I have 92, Saturday 94, it'll be the warmest in about 4 years here in the Mahoning Valley. Here's a look at the European model, ensemble model, temperature forecast for the next 16 days. The one way that our heat wave can kind of get short-circuited a little bit, if you will, is if we get some thunderstorms involved in the pattern. We have low chances in our forecast, but I wouldn't be shocked if each day we were bothered, if you will. We need the rain, but it may be tough to forecast this. If we got some sort of thunderstorm complexes coming out of the Midwest and diving down through the Great Lakes, and if they come at the wrong time of day, your 92-degree forecast can bust by 7 degrees. You know, say Friday, for example, say some random thunderstorm complex comes through at noon, probably not going to get to 92 then. So that's how your heat wave forecast, your hot forecast can get short-circuited a little bit. And the European ensemble kind of has that idea. It has high enough chances of rain that the numbers don't get ridiculous here. Yeah, 90, 91, Friday, Saturday. Hot, but it's not the mid-90s. So this bears watching. If the European model's onto something here, our heat wave could get a little bit short-circuited by the possibility of some thunderstorms. Again, the cool down early next week will be a modest one, but it'll be noticeable. Overall, it's a pretty hot pattern, though. I mean, we're looking at above average temperatures pretty much for the next 2 weeks. Thank you for watching the Monday Night Weather for Weather Geeks. I'll see you tonight in some abbreviated fashion, no doubt, on 21 News at 11. More Weather Geeks coming your way Tuesday evening. I get this video online usually for the first time right around 8 p.m.